Hello, good people. Thanks for joining me again. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Ann, and on my channel, I review foreign shows. You know what I usually say, right? We travel around the world sitting on our couches. How fun is that? You never know which country we're gonna end up next. Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ann, and on my channel I review foreign international content. Today I'm back. I really wanted to quickly jump on here and ask if anybody else is watching My Liberation Notes. It's on Netflix. It started maybe about 3 weeks ago. We are now up to episode 6, and what a fantastic show, right? I mean, it's growing on me. When I first started watching the first 2 episodes, I'm like, okay, what's going on? But now it's really picked up and it's so good. And by the way, I heard the writers or the production that did My Mister are the same ones doing this one. And you know, if you're a serious Korean fan, you've watched My Mister. If you have not watched My Mister, then you're missing out, right? But if you love My Mister, then you'd love this one. But this is so fantastic. It's about 3 adult children. Really, that's who the show is about. 2 sisters and a brother. They live in a farm with their parents. So in the weekends, they're helping the parents with farming and all kinds of work that goes on with being a farmer. But they also work in town, so every day they have to commute back, and it's quite the work back and forth, and to the point where they just don't have a social life. When their friends are trying to invite them to drink or to go hang out or be part of clubs, they're just like, I got no time, I gotta get home because I live far away, right? But what is interesting is that all 3 of them, as young adults, they are also not happy, right? Like, you could tell they're all going through it. It's almost like you've become adults, and adulting is not easy, and they all have issues going on. Anyway, let's start off with the cast that is just fantastic. The first person is Ji Woon, and her name is Mi Jeong in the show. And her character is very interesting because she's just quiet, never says anything, just going on with life, and you can tell she's not happy. And then she's got this job where everybody has to be part of a club, and she doesn't want to belong to a club, and she's like, I gotta go home, I live far away. And it's funny how it's between her and these 2 other co-workers who are like, we don't want to join clubs, we've got other things going on. Like, the one other guy, he's a single dad who's very good looking, by the way. He's like, I gotta go take care of my daughter. And then the other guy is like, I have never fit in, I don't want to do clubs, you know what I'm saying? And so they're being harassed. I thought it was really funny, that girl at the office who's always like, you gotta join a club, have you found a club? And then finally they're like, fine, let's make our own club, and then that way she stop bugging us trying to join clubs, right? And when they do, she's like calling them in, like, so you guys had your first meeting, what did you do? And they're looking at each other like, almost like the reason for our club is because we do nothing, right? But they don't want to say that. So then she's like, well, you guys are gonna keep notes. So now they got journals. But then even the one guy is like, now we gotta keep journals, and then she's gonna read them. Like, this is just, it's almost like workplace harassment, but it's so funny. I love how they're talking about difficult issues, but then they insert humor into the whole thing. And so that's how she starts to write My Liberation Notes. She's like, I want to be happy. I need to change my life. The way my life has been going on this far, I'm not happy with it. And really, that's what she's trying to do. And then obviously meets Mr. Gu, who is Sak Ku is his name. And in the show, he's called Mr. Gu. He's this guy who works with her parents. He's just quiet, depressed, walks like he's depressed. And all he does is work, and then in the evening sits outside and drink soju over and over. I mean, he filled the whole room with just soju bottles. Like, oh my God, talk about being an alcoholic. And clearly you can tell he's depressed about something. They have not told us yet what that is, but she starts to talk to him, and it's very awkward the way their relationship started. He's like, don't talk to me. He doesn't like to talk to anybody, right? He actually mentions that when he's drunk, he's a better person, better human being than when he's sober. And she goes to him and says, look, if you want to find something to do, because you look like you're depressed, how about you go ahead and worship me? And I was like, okay, girl. I was like, what do you mean worship? And I loved her description. It's like, I'm not interested in love because I've been involved with many people with bad relationships and not feeling well. You know, they just don't treat me well. But this time around, if I'm going to do this, I want you to worship me, meaning cheer me up, do things that makes me happy, right? So this guy is looking at her like, what is she talking about? But he takes her on. And I love that one part where her hat flies off and he jumps, and everybody was like, oh my God, were you an athlete in your previous life? Because remember, nobody knows anything about him because he never says anything. He just puts his head down, works with her parents, and that's it. And by the way, their parents just, they work and eat, and work and eat is all I see. And really, I feel like they're not interested in their kids' lives. Like their brother, who by the way is being played by Lee Min Ki. His name is Chung Hee. First of all, I saw him in Because This Is My First Life. He was very good in that. He's a very good actor. But boy, I have never met someone who can talk so much. He just talks and talks and talks and even says, I talk too much, right? And then, but he's still talking. And he's got this ideas of wanting to make it. And it's almost like he's coming to his dad, like, come on, lend me some money. I would love to open my own store, because he's like one of those people who goes to different franchise stores to make sure that they have everything they need. And he wanted to open his own and he can't. And then his girlfriend left him because I think he was poor, also lives in the country and all that stuff. So he's also frustrated with life, right? And so it's interesting that even her brother is also going through it, because he's also not happy and he's also depressed and living with the parents. And then the last character is their sister, their older sister, being played by the actor Lee Il, and her name is Jin Jo. And then the older sister, you know, she's gotten older. It sounds like she's been picky when it comes to relationships, so has not been dating anybody. And at this point, she's like, at this point, I'll love anybody who gives me a chance, right? She's so desperate. I almost want to say to her, I think you have to start first with self-love and then the rest will come. Like, she is so concerned about being loved and everybody loving her. And I'm loving the relationship that she's having with her coworker, who's like trying to like help her navigate relationship. And obviously we have that guy who is her coworker, who is a single dad. And the way she looks at him, I'm hoping that their relationship blossoms there. But what a fantastic show. I really love the way the script is written, because it shows really adulting is not easy, right? When it comes to jobs, how to navigate that, relationships, and how you could feel like you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and you know you're not happy. And I love that in the show, what we're being shown is that they're all like starting to take their power back, for lack of better words, liberate yourself and be happy instead of just always being in the rut. Like, I love the relationship between these two, because now they've become close and are starting to talk. It's like he went and cleaned the whole house. He went and finally brought in and sold all those soju bottles. Like, he's starting to get happy. She's also like, you know, like becoming more self-aware in what she wants and her liberation notes. So I cannot wait to see how it progresses. It's a really wonderfully written show. We are up to episode 6 and I cannot wait to see the rest of it. I just wanted to jump on here and say, if you're not watching my liberation notes, you need to watch. It's a fantastic show, grown-up show about real life issues that I think all of us can relate. I think we can all say, once in a while, we've probably all been in that same situation where you feel like you're in a rut and it's like, now what are you going to do about it, right? But just a really fantastic show. Let me know if you're watching. Put your comments down below and join me next week. I'll review episode 7 and 8. And as usual, if you like my video, do give me a like, subscribe. It does help to support my channel. And I'll see you again next week. Deuces.